Hi friends, welcome back to our channel. You might have heard about ISRO launching PSLV, GSLV Mark II, GSLV Mark III, etc. Did you ever try to know why ISRO is using different type of launch vehicles for different kind of satellites? In this video, we will try to understand briefly about them. Before getting into the actual question, first we will try to understand different types of orbits. First, what is an orbit? Orbit is a regular repeating path that an object in the space moves. All orbits are elliptical. Remember, circle is a special case of ellipse. For planets, the orbits are almost circular. Now we will look into different types of orbits based on the distance of the orbit from the surface of the Earth. First one, low Earth orbit. It will be at the height of 100 to 1500 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Medium Earth orbit. It will be from 1500 kilometers to 35,785 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Geostationary orbit and geosynchronous orbit, they will be at the same height of 35,785 kilometers. Geosynchronous orbit is inclined with some angle when compared with the geostationary orbit. Geostationary orbit is exactly above the equator, whereas geosynchronous orbit is inclined with some angle. And the next one is high Earth orbit, which is about 35,785 kilometers. After the height of 35,785 kilometers, the satellites reach a sweet spot. Here, the orbital speed matches the Earth's rotational speed. So, if the satellite is placed in the geostationary orbit, which is directly above the equator, a person can see that satellite at the same place at the same time every day. Here is the image showing different kinds of orbits. As we have discussed, lower Earth orbit is very close to the surface of the Earth, and you can see the higher Earth orbit is very far from the surface of the Earth. Here we discuss polar orbit. Polar orbit is a low Earth orbit which makes an angle 90 degrees with the equator, and as the name suggests, the orbit connects the North Pole to South Pole. And the image on your right shows geosynchronous and geostationary orbits. As we have discussed, geosynchronous makes some angle with the geostationary orbit always, and we can say geostationary orbit is a special kind of geosynchronous orbit. The International Space Station ISS is located in the lower Earth orbit, and all the remote sensing satellites for the Earth's observation is also placed in lower Earth orbits. In the medium Earth orbit, navigation satellites relating to GPS, GLONASS, Galileo are kept. The communication satellites are placed in geosynchronous and geostationary orbits. Do you ever wonder how satellites are staying in the orbit in which we placed? We will understand this by a small example. Take a stone and a thread and tie the thread to the stone. Pull the string of the thread tightly in your hand and rotate it. What do you observe? You have to exert some continuous force for pulling the stone towards the center, that is, towards your hand. This force is what we call as centripetal force. You can also observe that the stone is exerting some force to move away from the center, that is, to move away from your hand. We call this force as centrifugal force. This centripetal force and centrifugal force are same in magnitude but opposite in direction. Till the time the both forces are equal in magnitude, the stone will rotate in the circular direction. This is the same case with the satellite. The gravitational pull provides the centripetal force, and the angular velocity which the satellite has in that particular orbit will provide centrifugal force, which exactly balances the gravitational force, and thus satellites remain in the orbit. So, satellites stay in a particular orbit with a specific velocity called orbital velocity. If it moves faster than this, then the satellite fly off into the space. If it is too slow, it will fall back into the Earth and burns out during the fall. If the satellite has to kept close to the Earth, it has to move faster in the orbit to maintain that orbit. Newton was the first to theorize that projectile launched with sufficient speed would actually orbit the Earth. Though we may need high amount of energy to launch the satellite in its orbit, we don't need any sort of energy to make the satellite revolve in that orbit. But there are some conditions. If the satellite is placed in the lower Earth orbit, there will be huge atmospheric drag. So the satellites which are placed at the lower Earth orbits will always tend to lose heights because of the atmospheric drag. So to overcome this issue, there will be periodically firing onboard engines to get this satellite again into its orbit is done. So having understood the basics, we will now discuss the evolution of launch vehicles in India. In 1963, we don't have technology, so we borrowed a sounding rocket from USA. In 1970s, we started developing our own Rohini series sounding rocket systems. In 1980s, we started developing SLVs, satellite launch vehicles. In 1990s, we started developing augmented satellite launch vehicles or ASLV. SLV and ASLV are first and second generations respectively. And in 1993, we started developing PSLV, which is Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. Though our first PSLV mission is a failure, PSLV is now become a reliable and a very successful launch vehicle of India. And by 2001, we developed GSLV. First, we will discuss about PSLV. PSLV is a third gen launch vehicle of India. It is a 4-stage launch vehicle. There are 3 varieties of PSLV: PSLV General, PSLV XL variant and PSLV Core Elan. PSLV has strap-on boosters to give the extra thrust which is required to launch the satellite. PSLV usually has 6 strap-on boosters, but PSLV Core Elan doesn't contain any strap-on boosters. The strap-on boosters of PSLV uses solid fuel. PSLV has alternate solid and liquid fuel stages. That is, in the first stage it will use solid fuel, in the second stage it will use liquid fuel, again in the third stage it will use solid fuel, and in the final stage it will use liquid fuel. The lift-off mass of PSLV can be up to 320 tons and the payload of PSLV can be up to 1750 kg. Payload is the weight of our satellite or spacecraft which are designed to be kept in the orbit. With the lift-off mass of 320 tons, including the payload up to 1750 kg, PSLV can go up to 600 to 700 km. In the liquid fuel stages, that is second and the fourth stage, the engine will be different from that of the solid fuel stage. We use an engine called Vikas engine in the second and fourth stages, which is developed by ISRO. The payload is kept at the top of the launching vehicle. So the first stage of our satellite gives highest thrust required to launch the satellite when compared with the other stages. When the fuel in the one stage is spent completely, then that part of the rocket is detached and the next stage of the rocket gets ignited. We have been using PSLVs for launching different kind of satellites. Examples: MSAT series satellite, IRS, IRNSS and so on. If you remember, the Chandrayaan spacecraft which is launched in 2008 also used PSLV. We have used PSLV for our Mars Orbiter spacecraft in 2013 as well. ISRO also launched a record 104 satellites on a single rocket, that is PSLV C-37, which made a world record and made our India proud. Next, GSLV. GSLV is the 4th generation launch vehicle of India. It is a 3-stage launch vehicle. There are 2 versions of GSLV, GSLV Mark II and GSLV Mark III. GSLV uses cryogenic engine at its upper stage. That is, hydrogen is stored at very cool temperature, then it will be burnt in the presence of oxygen to get the energy. The cryogenic engine uses this technique, and within the limited space, more fuel can be stored here. The 3 stages of GSLV uses solid fuel, liquid fuel and solid fuel respectively. Here the liquid fuel stage uses the same Vikas engine which is developed by ISRO. Now coming to GSLV Mark II, a version of GSLV is capable of launching 2500 kg payload into geostationary transfer orbit with a lift-off mass of 414 tons. And this GSLV Mark II uses 4 strap-on boosters which uses liquid fuel to get the thrust. When we come to GSLV Mark III, GSLV Mark III has almost twice the capacity of GSLV Mark II. Mark III can carry 4-ton satellite into GTO and can carry 10 tons into lower Earth orbits. GSLV Mark III has 2 strap-on boosters on either side which uses liquid fuel. If you can see the Earth in this diagram and consider the inner circle as lower Earth orbit, the outermost circle as the geostationary orbit. Once the satellite is placed in a lower Earth orbit, we boost it up to enter into geo-Earth orbit, that is outer circle. The path through which we transfer our satellite from lower Earth orbit to geo-Earth orbit is called as geostationary transfer orbit. If you like the content of the video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.